Hello and welcome to Nintendo Voice, your voice for everything Nintendo. Today is the oh wow, and I'm already screwing this up right now in our episode right now at the point because Lewis is not here. But anyway, without further ado, welcome to Nintendo Voice, your voice for everything Nintendo. This is episode 129, recorded on the 27th of February, 2018. My name's Harrison Milfeld, and joining me to talk Nintendo, we have a slightly giggling Colin Crompton.
Hello there. Yeah, no, Lewis. I believe he's on holiday in Bulgaria. I
Oh,
believe.
wow, he always actually do the really good vacations on there. I mean, to me,
I saw it on Twitter. I was like, dude, you didn't tell us, and wow, yeah, that's crazy.
Oh no,
Hopefully, he's having a good time.
exactly. He needs a rest and things like this, and of course, he's given us the task to, just clean up basically the Nintendo news of the last few, if you want to call it that. But again, aside from my little stammering for the beginning, because I completely blanked on the thing that we always talked about every time, is just the simple, hey, here's our tagline, and then I just blanked on the date because I always realized, wait a minute, is it already that time in Europe right now? But then I realized, no, wait, it's 2 o'clock here, and so on and so forth. But again, we have a lot to talk about. Well, we have a little bit, not a lot, but enough in this condensed little show to talk about here. We don't have what we've been playing, but Colin actually has a little bit of news to talk about. We do have the Nintendo news. Nintendo came up big at the DICE Awards this week, and we have a lot to dissect from there. And of course, things to talk about Pokemon Day. And then we have a feature. No super topic this week because we're saving the last one that we have in our queue for until Lewis gets here. But today's feature is revolving around the 3DS, which turned 7 years old this past week in Japan, which I can't believe it's been that long right now. So a lot to kind of get through. But yeah, it's a very thing. Like, I mean, it's 7 years to me. So, but before we do jump into the Nintendo news, and since we don't have what we've been playing, Colin, I believe you do have a big announcement to say to everybody. I know everybody on Twitter and through your community, through the Game Attack community, everybody knows about this. But go ahead, tell everybody the good news, the news that we've been waiting for.
Just been waiting for a long day to say this. I own a Switch.
You do?
I do own a Switch. Now, let me clarify. I don't physically have it with me right now. It is currently in the process of being delivered. It's in the post, so I'm going to receive it either tomorrow or Thursday. But yes, I am an official owner of a Switch, and I want to thank some very generous people who came forward and offered through my streams. They offered up, okay, we'll pay part of it for you. You can pay the rest, and that kind of thing. It is. I'm braced by some very, very generous people indeed. So yes, I'm able to. I own Switch, and I actually brought my first 2 Switch games today,
which I'm assuming, were Mario Odyssey.
That is one. The second one, I'm not sure if you'll get because it's a little out there.
Okay. I'm assuming it's a physical copy. You didn't pre-purchase.
It's a physical copy.
Fire Emblem Warriors.
No, although it is third party.
It's third party. I'm gonna say Doom.
No.
L.A. Noire.
Yes, you are correct on your third try. Yes.
Wow, I know. I was going down the list thinking Rockstar, all this. I'm like, why? But again, before we get to the games, whatever. I mean, that's awesome that you actually had so the people through your community that you stream with, they just gave up grabbed up a bunch of money to help you out, just to.
Yeah, basically, I had a Switch fund in the corner of my streams for the longest time, and I was like, just don't go crazy with it, just chip in small amounts, that's fine. And a good friend of mine and someone's actually in the chat now, Dolly Pero, both they got together and basically donated the whole lot for it, and I was like, oh guys, you're kidding me here. So but they wouldn't. I asked them, I'll give back your donations if you want. They refused. They wanted me to have a Switch so I could stream Switch stuff. I was like, cool, thank you very much. You guys are awesome. So, yeah, I had a choice of the standard Switch or the grey one. I went with the grey. I'm not a fan of the colours. I like a uniform colour scheme on my consoles. Just having the 2 Joy-Cons being different colours put me off. So I went with the grey.
That's cool. But no, it's good to see you doing all that.
Better.
Now, will you be getting a Pro controller in the near future, though? That's one thing that's kind of needed things.
I've heard like nothing but excellent things about the Pro controller, so I am very eager to get a Pro controller. Yes, so that is a thing in my future. Absolutely.
Well, there you have it. I mean, Colin is officially, after so much pestering and teasing over the last year, and you got it right before the Switch's 1-year anniversary. This is coming up Saturday. You really got to that point. So
that's the weird thing. I don't like getting consoles early. I usually wait until like they're at least a few years into the cycle. But I was constantly getting hounded to play Switch stuff, and I'm like, I don't have a Switch. I don't have a Switch, guys. And then obviously now I do. Yeah. So I don't know how I feel about it. I feel very blessed that I'm getting one. At the same time, I'm like, this is a new experience for me because this is probably the earliest I've ever had a console. I've never had a console like this new.
I'll say when you got a Wii U, you got that about a year or two after its launch.
I got it in 2014, late 2014.
Oh, so you got that right around the tail end of when Smash Brothers was coming out. So okay, yep. I think I forget about that because I always assume like, wow, the waiting for portion on there, but again, it's dang for that. But no, Mario Odyssey is a very good start for you on there, and of course you have a plethora of like it seems like a steady stream of eShop games that just keep coming out each week to the point where I'm like I can't. I mean, I do have one that I'm getting ready to review, which the name is escaping me at the point is just, but again, it's just seems like every dang time it's like, God, there's just so much right now, and I just can't keep up. So. But no, that's just great to see you finally doing there. And you said this is arriving this week?
Yeah, in the next few days. So crazy times.
You are going to be, and you already have the games in your possession, right?
I have 2 games in my possession right now. Yes.
Yeah, and you are going to be waiting for that mailman for it feverishly, it seems like. So, but
I'm checking the tracking info like every 10 minutes. Like, where is it? Yeah.
Oh God. But it's just no, it's just great to do whatever. And now finally we have a group of like, for once, it's like we have everybody that has, a Switch console right now to talk about as far as
we're a unified force right now, which is great. Cool.
But that's, again, if we want to figure out, Colin's friend code again, you have to deal with that probably, that nonsense is again. So that way we can actually await for people on that one. So keep an eye. I'm assuming you're just going to name yourself Helium Bard or Colin. I don't know. So
I'm going to go Helium Bard if I can. And then, the friend code. I'm going to just have it on my Twitter profile. I'm just going to direct people towards that. That's the easiest thing to do. Yeah.
Well, I mean, aside now, with that bit of good news out of the way, though, we do need to move on to the Nintendo news, and the biggest piece of news for this week was happened last Thursday, and was at the Nintendo basically cleaned up house at the 21st annual DICE Awards, which is essentially the equivalent of gaming industry's Oscars, in my opinion. I know people may scoff at that whole idea to it, but Breath of the Wild obviously coming in and winning top honors the evening game of the year. It's the first Nintendo game to do so since 1998, and that's when Ocarina of Time won. That was back when the show was first started. The first 2 recipients, I believe, were first one was GoldenEye, then Ocarina of Time, and then since then there's always been those game of the year chances for Nintendo, but they never quite got to the cusp. But the closest I think was
not even with Galaxy.
No, it was nominated Game of the Year, but again, you have to look back at 2007. That was a chock-full good of a year, and that was like when you had your Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, you had BioShock, Mass Effect. It was just a loaded type of year of that time. And even, I remember Metroid Prime being defeated, I think was like that in 2002, because that was that time when it had a lot of nominations. Yeah. But ended up coming away with like best console first-person shooter and Splinter Cell, and then I think Battlefield 1942 won it. Like that was a very strange year for that one. But anyway, but Breath of the Wild, of course, continuing its onslaught of Game of the Year accolades. Aside from Game of the Year, it did win Outstanding Achievement in Game Direction, Best Adventure Game, and Outstanding Achievement in Game Design.
That's crazy because you talk about loaded years. 2017 was a good year for games.
Oh yeah, it's
so, for Zelda to come out on top of all that, that's incredible.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, knowing that 2017 was kind of a bit of a garbage year, everything else in the real world, I was glad to see both games and movies kind of kept my mind at a sane a little bit. So, no, before we get on there, I just wanted to ask: did you watch the Dice Awards though, Colin?
I did not watch the full event. I did get a hold of like a highlight reel. It just showed like the awards being given out. So it was like bam, 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 bam. You know, here's one this one that, this one that.
Oh yeah, they were not playing a role along when it came to award shows like this, because one thing a lot of people will complain about certain award shows is that they run too long or there's unnecessary bits put into it, whatever. I mean, and that's the same thing with like the Academy, like the Motion Picture Association of America, when they try to or the Academy for like Oscars, they try to find ways to shorten the show. But it seems like they overcorrect themselves where it's like, oh, it's too short and too boring. Oh, like we got to have it more fun. And then it's like too long. But in the case of this one, which, IGN did stream, and it was just very swift. And it was like by around the hour mark, it was like, okay, we're almost done with this right now. And I think it was only lasting an hour and a half and here and there. But yeah, it was just an amazing little bit of thing going in there. I mean, that's one thing I always look to. And of course, I know everybody has their myths against the Game Awards, which usually is held every December but that's a whole different thing to open up. But aside from Breath of the Wild, though, Nintendo won a total of 11 awards that evening. And of course, one big worry was thinking like, oh, Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild would be taking votes away of each other from certain categories. That wasn't really the case. Out of the awards that Mario Odyssey was nominated for, including Game of the Year, it only came out with one, and one that I was a little bit surprised in, and that was it won Outstanding Achievement in Sound Design, which I was a little shocked that Breath of the Wild was not nominated for, because once the nominees came out, my thought was like, okay, Horizon's got this, and which is a game I have on my queue right now. I still need to finish. And then once they announced its name, I'm like, huh. Well, I mean, knowing that those sounds that Mario lore and all the Mario universe is basically ingrained to our brains, it's like, well, if it's coming away with one award, it's better to come away with nothing. So I guess
it does kind of feel like Mario Odyssey needs to have something. So here's the Sound Award, and very interesting choice of award for it to win. I'm not quite sure if it's like just based around the song. In the game.
I mean, they had sound. I mean, they had soundtrack. I think that's one of the categories they had in there. I mean, it's score, but that was I want to say that because I know Nier Automata was at a really good musical score at that point, but that ended up like winning Best RPG. But other winners of the night though was Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle won Strategy Simulation Game of the Year, which congratulations to the team at Ubisoft Milan and them putting that together. Of course, a game that everybody was scoffing at the beginning once it was leaked, and then it just won the hearts of everybody else out there for Switch owners. And so I applaud them for their effort on that one. Handheld Game of the Year went to Metroid: Samus Returns, and I theoretically always call this it's probably something Nintendo related is going to win this, because essentially with the handheld with the handheld games this year, so knowing what Vita's not doing this time. So Snipper Clips though surprisingly picked up 2 awards, Best Family Game and the Dice Sprite Award. So that was a little bit good for them as a team. Fire Emblem Heroes won Mobile Game of the Year, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe won Racing Game of the Year. So yes, Mario Kart 8 technically has won Racing Game of the Year twice.
Just baffles my mind. Interesting.
Oh yeah, it's just, to me, whatever. I'm like, okay, it's very valid. I don't know. It's just strange to me when I look at something like that, but still. Again, a big night. But one thing I wanted to notice on there, I mean, did you kind of notice that through the whole show that Nintendo didn't really have many representatives in the ceremony? They had localization. The localization manager from Nintendo Treehouse, Nate Bildorf, who of course has been with the company for years and has been known for probably a lot of great localization bits with the company. Most notably was in Metroid Prime. He wrote most of the scan descriptions because at the time Retro Studio had no writers at the company since it was fairly young. Again, his stuff goes back to Ocarina of Time when he was a play tester, and yeah, he had a busy time just going up on the stage, just accepting awards and accepting for everyone, everyone involved in Nintendo, from NCL or NOA. and he was referred to online as the #Nintendo guy. So there would be times when he'd be going up on stage to pick up an award, and then he'd go off, and then the next word's announced, and he's apologizing on stage. Sorry, I was backstage at the moment. So, I don't know, like, congrats to those Nate for actually just stepping into the spotlight and becoming.
It's a little bit awkward though. I mean, like, why weren't there more representatives?
Well, I think for that, I mean, travel, whatnot. I mean, I'm assuming, and even with like Sony, I think they had people like that. It's a very small. I mean, the whole convention itself, the DICE Summit itself, is very smaller. So I can understand why they don't send very few representatives. But again, I'm getting off everything on there, so
it's still a big event. Yeah.
But one again. The theming for this whole event was almost seemed like Nintendo, but receiving DICE's Lifetime Achievement Award was now retired Nintendo programmer and designer Genyo Takeda.
Yeah.
Now, did you catch the video tribute for him on this?
No, that's the one thing that wasn't a part of the highlight reel. That's something I've been meaning to check out as well.
No, there was well, going through. I mean, I feel like for something like a Lifetime Achievement Award, right, for Genyo Takeda, this is, I mean, it almost goes with saying he's almost like an unsung hero for the company. And, you know, during the passing of like Satoru Iwata, whatever, when during the whole company shuffling, it's essentially, you know, it was essentially him and Miyamoto were running the company for a while. So, I mean, well, you know, he was giving the title of Technology Fellow. So that was a very interesting little, like, title that he had given himself. But no, it was a heartfelt little like tribute, and for somebody that really has done a lot for, you know, for Nintendo over the years. I mean, he got to start out from like helping basically create arcade cabinets for like the company, and of course he was responsible for helping create Punch Out. So I mean, all this stuff kind of goes all the way back, whether it's like the, you know, the design of the N64, you know, the helps of the analog controller, and of course, you know, he was responsible for the design of the Wii, for the Wii. Essentially for the like, but one thing I did really get a like out of though is he, during his tribute package, he was like talking about, like, they mentioned during the package about Star Tropics, and as that name was mentioned and showed its box art, I could hear in the background a lot of cheer, like like faint cheers and yays from the background.
Some guys in the back like, yeah,
people who love that. Whatever. I mean, there's at least people who still love like Star Tropics, but
well, it's forgotten franchises, man.
I know. It's something that needs to be picked up in there. But again, it was a great speech for him. I mean, Takeda, he's thanked, you know, the late, you know, his former boss, the late Hiroshi Yamauchi, and for quote, he said, for giving me the opportunity to lay the technology effort at Nintendo. But of course, he went on to say, thank, you know, Shigeru Miyamoto, and then, you know, the late Satoru Iwata, whom people he's just worked with closely. And so again, as he was giving like a standing ovation, like, you know, a standing ovation for something like this. And I think for him, his final message, like the thing I really liked about it, whatever, is like he was, the message for him was in this gathering of, like, you know, all these game developers, all these designers, all these people in the industry, you know, and his message was to, you know, keep them smiling. And I think that was a very good way to end, you know, just to end everything for what was a legacy for him. So, you know, and he went to,
that's great for him. I mean, I honestly, it's well deserved as well. It's well earned. Yeah, I'm glad. That sounds awesome. I need to check out the video package as well. But yeah, no, I congratulations to him. It really is, because I mean, it sounds like he's definitely earned it. Really has.
Yeah. But aside from big nights at awards show, Nintendo is continuing to lead the pack, it seems like, in sales this week. According to the January NPD sales report, the Switch led as far as high-selling console in the month of January, despite no major game releases that month. So either that's because, I'm going to say either that for the States, because at that time, whether it's here in February, well, I'm sure that'll be China in February, people will be getting their tax return refund in soon. So, but again, still, this is still to be knowing that this is like no momentum. The momentum is keeping on right now.
That's what I'm saying. That's all momentum. That's all people who haven't been able to get hold of the console are now getting their hands on it. You know, that's me included, I guess. So yeah, it's crazy. I mean, to top it off with like no major release, that's a sign that you got a hit on your hands when it comes to a console. People still want it, and you haven't released anything big on it. But that's it.
Yeah. I don't have the overall like software release for combined software releases, but these were the best-selling Switch games though for that month. Number one was Super Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Splatoon 2, Pokémon Tournament DX, The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, ARMS, Mario plus Rabbids, and number 10 was Doom.
Kind of interesting to see Skyrim above Xenoblade 2. To me, I don't know why. I guess because
it's a well-known name. It's a well better name. I mean, as far as
brands, yeah.
So, but yeah. Knowing this one, but I'll here also for 3DS we had Pokemon Ultra Sun Moon, Pokemon Ultra Moon is number 1 and 2 respectively. Number 3 was Mario Kart 7. 4 was Mario Party, the top 100. 5 was Minecraft, which I forgot did get a physical release. Number 6 is Super Mario Maker. 7 Super Smash Brothers. Number 8, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions. Number 9, New Super Mario Brothers 2, and number 10 was Kirby Battle Royale. Yeah, continuing to just slaughter it seems right now. Oh boy. But anything else you want to add for this? Is there anything?
I mean, I'm still kind of shocked that it's selling as well as it is. Yeah, I think that's fair. It's just good news. Good news all around.
It is. It's a healthy Nintendo is healthy as far as for everybody else in this industry, but I do. Yeah, I guess it just shows the testament of how well Mario is selling right now. I mean, yes, it's an iconic character itself, but to me, it's good to see Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild actually breaking. And actually, recently, the Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild was the first Zelda game to sell over 1 million for the first time, I believe, since Ocarina of Time. If I can just.
I believe that was in Italy or Spain. There was a specific country where it was the first game to reach 1 million in forever.
Yeah, it is. I
don't remember if it was.
Yes, it is indeed the first one since it is the first one since Ocarina of Time to have reached a million. So, and that's geez. I mean, and then that's I always kind of forget the fact that Zelda is. I always just assume it still is just as popular over here in Japan as and here in the West, but I guess that I am completely wrong on that whole front. Obviously, it just shows how my ignorance is. So,
it's a good sign that also that in the top 10 Switch games, there's some third-party titles in there as well.
There are room for improvement, obviously, when it comes to something like this. So,
of course, but I mean, that's a huge step up from what the Wii U was doing.
Yeah, even though we kind of do need to. I don't know whether or not we need to stop using that as the barometer at success. I feel like the barometer, it's just knowing that was just it's just going to be a weird little thing, a footnote in history, whatever, as far as sales. Knowing, and we're going to again, it's just continuously discussed. So.
I mean, what do you use then? Because the Wii had, I would argue, we had too much third-party support, shovelware on it, and the Wii U had not enough third-party support. That it was sparse.
Well, I do feel like when you look back as far as the Wii's third-party support, though, there were some solid third-party offerings on there. And it's just the fact that when you're going to get something popular like that, of course, you are going to get the shovelwares when it's the party games or just the quick ports.
Yeah. But that's sort of.
Yeah, so it's whatever when you get to something like that. So, but moving on from Switch sales and all among other things, Pokemon Day is this week. Actually, it is tomorrow as of this recording. It'll be Wednesday, February 28th, which of course is the I believe, the day of technically February 27th. Oh wow, no. February 27th is actually the date of when Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green released in Japan 22 years ago. But Pokemon Day is going to be commemorated on tomorrow. Tomorrow on the 28th. So, and the Pokemon Company decided to, reveal their celebration plans for Pokemon Day 2018. Several of these will include and these are all coming around through various bits of social media programs. So, for instance, for Snapchat, you'll get new lenses featuring Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. The Bulbasaur lens is already available at this moment and will be only available for 3 days. So, as of this writing, I think up until tomorrow, I believe on Wednesday. and also in addition, a variety of Pokemon stickers will debut on Pokemon Day. So now here's the better thing that I think I like about this is starting today or starting now, fans can download. You can download a Pikachu Talk app for Amazon Alexa and Google Home devices. Yes, you can talk to your personal assistant like it's like it'll respond with like Pika or Pikachu.
Well, at least it's not talking. That's the main thing. I'm happy with that.
Oh yeah, because don't trust me. I'll just put a little detective cap on it, and I'm sure that the day's coming, man. That game's happening.
No, it's not. Not in my house.
Not in my house.
Pokemon Day. I'm just gonna say it. Kind of sucks. Don't you think it kind of sucks? I feel like they could have done anything for Pokemon Day. They could have. Just anything. I just feel like this is very lackluster for me.
There's still more. Well, there's still more that I'm kind of getting into this right now. I mean, aside from the whole Pikachu Talk app that you're going to get, the Pokemon Center is going to be launching a new they're going to be launching new Pokemon Gallery figures, with Charizard features the first Pokemon Gallery figure DX. Also, looking through here. The latest film, which was, of course, Pokemon the movie, I Choose You. That'll be available on Pokemon TV for the next week. And I believe that is it at the moment right now. I'm just really, really interested to have somebody try out the Google Home app, whatever, with because my roommates have that, and I'm just going to abuse that as much as I can.
See, that's probably the cream of the crop of these things I do for Pokemon Day. But just the idea itself of having Pokemon Day, I understand people. Pokemon's a huge, huge series, a huge franchise, and yeah, it's 22 years old. It's celebrating 22 years of it being around. That's amazing. There you go.
Well, I mean, knowing that's people were trying to think is this going to revolve around probably new Pokemon game announcements and things like that. So
that would have been cool.
Well, it would be, but I mean,
a trailer for the Switch game on this day.
Well, we are almost coming up a year since it has been technically announced, and I doubt that sees the day of light here in 2018.
Oh, very much so. Yes, yeah. But
yeah,
anything like a tease or anything. I don't know. There's potential for huge to happen on this day. It's very minor things, but yeah, they're kind of cool.
But yes, that does take us, though, to the end of the Nintendo news. Now, we do have a feature this week, but no super topic. Now, if you do want to contribute to the super topics in future episodes, visit our Patreon. Patrons throughout who are sign up just for $1 a month, for just as low as $1, you will be able to contribute different topics that we can actually discuss on here on the show. And, of course, with any patrons out there, send out more of your topics out there. We still have a lot to get through. Well, we only have a few left right now to actually look through. So, again, just head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Voice. And if you want to participate for super topics and other sorts of things, whether it's a shout-out on the show for anything else, join our Patreon.
And the thing is, super topics can be about anything. They can cover any spectrum of what do you guys think about the 16-bit wars or whatever, anything of that nature. Just throw it out there, and we will pick it up and we'll give our thoughts on the podcast.
Yes, so we hope to see more of you guys on here soon. Again, head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Voice for more. All right. Anyway, though, we do have a feature this week. Pretty short one for about a few minutes, about 10-15 minutes. We're going to discuss about the Nintendo 3DS. Ooh. No, we're not going to be counting down our top 10 favorite games each one, although that will actually kind of come rather soon, probably, I believe. But back on February 26th, the 3DS celebrated its 7th birthday.
Oh, God. there's a if there's anything that makes you feel a lot older, the 3DS is 7 years old. That's crazy. It's
insane. But also knowing that how the rough start it actually did begin. For its probably its original price that it came here in the States. In the States, it was priced at $250.
Right.
Of course, that wasn't until long about when sales just stagnated to a point where they just, you know, like a significant price reduction, whatever. It went from 250 to 170, and of course from there, for those who had bought the 3DS beforehand were able to register with register with the eShop, which were given the ambassador program, which of course gave the, if I'm naming these games a little further, yes, 10 free Nintendo Entertainment System games and 10 free Game Boy Advance games from the Nintendo eShop for those who bought at the original launch price. Although there were at some instance, I think, local stores that were selling that price earlier before the cutoff date.
If you timed it just right, you can get a 3DS at a reduced price, but still be included in the ambassador program, which is, if you can get a deal, that's a heck of a deal. I just want to talk to you about the price drop, actually. So $250 down to $170. Has any other console had such a severe drop in price that early? I think that's really unprecedented.
And succeeded after that. I mean, I know that this is obviously, the Nintendo what was it? The Nintendo DS sold an amount of almost, at this point right now,
it's like 100 million or something stupid.
Oh, it is. If I'm looking right now, 154 million units sold worldwide.
Ooh.
Worldwide, and at this state right now, that's at that point that's the second most. Yeah, I believe that is the second most, the second best-selling video game device of all time, next to the PlayStation 2. And as of today, the 3DS is sold. Yeah, upwards around to just a little bit past 72 million worldwide. Not nowhere near, obviously, which is the point. But again, I still rank this up here, even with the PlayStation 3, in terms of when you were thinking about comebacks of such bad starts.
Yeah,
those two rank up there.
Both quite similar in their own ways. The PS3 had an outrageous starting price. So
$599 US, man. I remember that.
I was I heard that. I was like, "Are you guys serious? Did you see what you're doing?" They thought this thing was from the space age. But yeah, I think they turned it with the 3DS as well, because this thing has 3D, glasses free 3D. It's huge, and people. I mean, how long did you carry on using the 3D after you got the 3DS? I dropped it real quick. I was just I don't want to do 3D.
Well, it depended on mine for me, because obviously the first 3DS I got was the 3DS XL. Because I remember that E3 2010 when it was such a big hit amongst people, the crowd viewers, the glasses free 3D and the portability, the look of the design of this, this handheld.
Yep.
Amidst obviously with the smartphone boom that was just slowly building more and more up, is that it was really kind of I don't know. I guess it was just the games lineup to me that really pushed me away, and especially the price. And then once it did get down in price, I didn't get to that whole ambassador program right away. I mean, I know people actually were getting into it, but again, I was just so hesitant about it. And I think it was until late 2012, I want to say, when I finally bought a 3DS, and it was a blue XL. I loved it to death. And then right now, I own this XL. I own this new Nintendo 3DS XL, which of course I love even more with a better processor, and just the fact that it's 3D line, it's 3D technology into whatever is able to track easily. Because the one thing I kind of compared that 3D to that first early onset of the 3DS designs was, it's kind of like those holographic cards that you see and you just you look at it at a different angle. Yeah, that's what it looked. That's what essentially what it was.
I mean, in the original 3DS, the sweet spot was so narrow. You had to find the sweet spot and then stay fixed in that position playing the game. And if you're motion tilt controls, anything to do with a gyro, you can't do the gyro in 3D at the same time. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. No. But I will say, though, there's been plenty of games on there that have done the 3D effect really well. I mean, one thing that comes an example was Super Mario 3D Land. That
would be the one game of yes, that does 3D the best. I cannot name another game that does 3D as well as 3D Land.
I could say maybe in usage when you play Xenoblade Chronicles 3D on there, it does help a little bit more. But as far as anything else, um, well, even Link Between Worlds, there's things like Mario 3D Land is the one that actually fits really well for that.
It is
But
built. I mean, there's like definitive stages that are like built around 3D, which is they look amazing in 3D. But I just was like, 3D was really cool. I get glasses free 3D. It's a really cool feature, but to me, I was like a novelty that wore off real quick. But it was cool. Honestly, like I kind of felt like the gyro controls were way more intuitive, like in certain games, like Ocarina of Time 3D felt amazing with the gyro controls. Like it worked really well, at least for me. Aiming with the circle pad, which by the way, we got to talk about the circle pad because that was huge. But the circle pad aiming felt a little bit wonky to me, but gyro felt super accurate. The circle pad itself, though, like how weird is that on the handheld? Because I went from a PSP to a 3DS. PSP, they tried having like little like nubs, like the joystick, but it's horrible. It's a horrible thing. The circle pad is like the best version of that. It works so well on 3DS. It is like it's so silky smooth. Like it's the perfect version of like because you can't have an analog stick on a clamshell design because it will crush it. So this is the best thing you can have, and I love the circle pad. I thought it was really good. A little bit baffled as why I didn't have a second one on the right. But then,
it's limitations, I think, for something like that. But it's we could go on probably as far as design. I mean, and then and plus I don't know. It's just looking at the history of the 3DS, what it's done so far, and knowing that, yeah, I know Switch is just new hotness. It seems like right now, and obviously I can understand you don't want to see things in subpar, like nothing. You want to see something good HD quality. But as far as 3DS, if you're limited for something like that, you have a killer games lineup to do with it, especially anything when it comes to like even like stuff in the eShop, for instance. So, I mean, I couldn't tell you even for this handheld that made me fall in love with Fire Emblem again. And of course, it's the handheld that saved Fire Emblem.
That saved it. Yeah. I think a lot of series like refound their footing somewhat in 3DS. Kid Icarus, for one, kind of refound its footing. The game wasn't fully well received because of the control setup, but like Pit, there was new life breathed into Pit. He had a new personality in this game now. But it was the first game in like 25 years, I believe.
Yeah, first one since on Game Boy. I think it was like 92 or I want to say it was 91 or 92.
Yeah, I was like, this is awesome that they're doing this. Yeah, it was really cool.
When did you get your first 3DS though?
Oh, my first 3DS was given to me. My older brother had the Black Zelda standard 3DS, which I got that. He gave it to me, and I went and brought Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. So that would have been, I want to say, it must be like 2000, late 2012 or early 2013. It was around that time. I can't remember when Dream Drop. I think Dream Drop Distance was 2012. But yeah, no, I loved it. I thought it was great. The original, the 3D on it was restrictive because you couldn't tilt or anything.
Yeah, and how many 3DS designs did you go through the lifetime? I've only been through 2.
I got that. Then I went and bought myself an XL later on down the line when it got released. Because I was like, oh, bigger screen, because I love the standard, the DSi XL, I think. I was like, oh, the bigger screen is great. So yeah, got that, and bigger battery life and all that stuff. And then I went straight from the 3DS XL to the new 3DS XL, which I have currently, a nice little blue one. Yeah, that's basically it as far as 3DS. I do want to get a new 2DS XL because they look amazing.
They do, and I think the only thing I think as far as a problem though is that this is just a small bit of nitpick, is that underneath though, like if I'm showing you right here on my 3DS, is that like the audio card is not the audio, but the speakers are actually kind of like right here on the side. So basically, you be holding it and kind of it isn't. There's no difference, but it's just kind of very odd to see that.
Yeah, it's kind of like putting sound into your palms. Yeah, I'm waiting for my. I'm not going to buy a new 3DS, a new 2DS or whatever until my new 3DS XL fails on me, which Ain't gonna be anytime soon, because it's a Nintendo handheld and they last forever. So,
Although I do feel like its battery is starting to kind of just wane on me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've noticed a lot through Xenoblade Chronicles 3D for a while. So, and which, by the way, yeah, that's what I've been kind of getting through at the moment between everything else.
I wonder if that's because it's the only. Well, it's no longer the only, but it was the first new.
That and I don't know. I've kind of noticed it as well with other games as well, like smaller titles.
Okay.
But again, it just, But I guess I know this has just been a short reminiscing about the 3DS, whatever. Just kind of like look back, whatever. I think right now, just to kind of end this whole topic a little bit more, is like, what do you think its legacy is going to like? It's a matter of like, what do you get? What do you think personally its legacy is going to be in the whole lexicon of like Nintendo handhelds? And when it comes to 2018, which I feel like will still, the 3DS still contributes to a lot of Nintendo's revenue at this moment, while Switch kind of just slowly but surely takes its place. It's a matter of like, do you think this is I guess, what do you think its legacy is in this whole thing, like in this whole world, and do you think it still has any more life left in 2018?
So I think the 3DS will be remembered as like the perfect sequel handheld. So you had the DS, and then you had the 3DS, and it was just a huge improvement in every way. Whereas before, the only one I can really compare it to, like you had the Game Boy, then you had the Game Boy Color. Wasn't a huge upgrade. It was just like, oh, now you get into color. This is massive. I feel like its history is going to be. It will always be compared to the standard DS because it's the sequel system. I think it's going to be a loved handheld. I don't think it's going to be a treasured handheld like the normal DS or the original Game Boy was. I think people are going to look back and be like, it was a good system. And that'll probably be the height, I think. How much life it has left? That's tough. That's a real hard one.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we thought 2017 was going to be it. I idiotically thought that, but then you realize, the Switch is still young and Nintendo's still making money off the 3DS, and it was a matter of like what games are left. And of course, we have another Pokemon game. We have more Fire Emblem. There's a Metroid game, and it just explodes out. I mean, who knows?
Somehow it's still fighting. It's still punching above its weight.
Because like Mario Kart 7, even like a game like Mario Kart 7, for instance, is still selling incredibly well for that.
Oh yeah. And I mean, like 7 years is a really long time for a handheld. Really long time. I mean, yes, it did have the revision like halfway through with the new 3DS XL, which kind of gave it new life. But then so did the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. It had the color, I guess you can call it revision. But yeah, honestly, if I was to put a timer on it, I would say at the most, it has like another 2 years left in it. At the very least, another year. Yeah, at least a year, at most 2 years.
Yeah, because we don't know what is on the horizon for the 3DS for the rest of this year, aside from a few Dragon Quest games, and I think we still need to get Sushi Strikers, which is a game that I'm still like interested in finding out a little bit more about. But I guess to answer for me on this case, as far as what I feel like its legacy is, much like with the PS3, and the PS3, for instance, is that it's a device and console that actually got off on a terrible start and just quickly rebounded. So I feel like, again, it's one of those things that just deals with one of those great comeback stories. And like you said, it is a good, perfect upgrade and iteration of what the DS was. And, it was a DS, essentially, was a handle I've never really had that much time with. I owned one, had games for it, had fun, but never really truly loved it as much as I did my Game Boy Advance. And I really feel like the 3DS is that one thing that actually is up on that par level of like, I'm getting more time out of money out of this, obviously, but I think it's seriously up there in terms of what it's form factor and what it actually was. That it's a great games lineup, great thing for me, and just made me fall in love back again with Fire Emblem. Now for the rest of this year, it's up in the air. We don't know. We certainly don't know what it could be. We could get like, who knows, another Legend of Zelda game in the same style of A Link Between Worlds. That'd be great. I'd love to. Or who knows, another Fire Emblem game in the sense in the whole Echoes brand. But then again, they're working on the Switch version, so who knows what they could be doing.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that some Switch games are now being like put on 3DS later. Like SteamWorld Dig 2 it came out on Switch and now it's on 3DS.
Well, that's also been on Steam as well too. So
true, it's a very cross-platform game. So, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what the future holds for 3DS. I would love to see it go for another year or two. I would love to see sequels to games like Ever Oasis on it. I would love to see anything. I mean, a new Zelda in the style of Link Between Worlds would be incredible if they can get it out before the system's end. Yeah, I believe the future is bright.
Well, yeah, that and just cloudy, bright, but also it's more optimistic. It seems like for anybody who's a fan of Nintendo in general here. I mean, there's just what basically we went through before 2017. It's just like I love my Wii U and all that, but it was quite a depressing few years. We can agree. So even though we were all still here podcasting about this in general, trying to just
with as much enthusiasm as we could get out of the Wii U.
Yes, but yeah, that is though that does conclude though our feature on the 3DS, and that does take us though to the end of the show. And before we go though, we are going to give out our contact details. And Colin, where can all the fans and the listeners reach you?
They can find me on Twitter at HighlyandBard. They can also catch me on Mixer, mixer.com/HighlyandBard. I stream every day at 6. I didn't do it today. I was running out of time and things to do. But yeah, I stream every day at 6. And I've got a Switch coming soon. So we're going to Switch stuff. We're going to Mario Odyssey. We're going to have Alien Noir. It's going to be fun. Fun times over there.
Exciting. And I'll be awaiting that friend request from you soon. Good on there. I'll be waiting for the little blue icon. But you can reach me at Twitter at @hmilfeld, and if you want to become friends with me on Switch, my friend code is pinned to the top of my Twitter profile. But also before we go, and if you want to reach us on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe to us at youtube.com/Nintendo Voice. You be sure to head over our Patreon at patreon.com/Nintendo Voice as well. We would love the most support we can get out of everybody out there. And of course, you can reach us through either Hipcast or iTunes. And through iTunes, leave us a review. Leave us a review. Leave us a review on there. We'd like to read reviews out here live as much as we can. So that'd be great to do as well. But
and be as critical as you can. We'd love to know what people like, what they don't like, and that's how shows grow. That's how we grow. So yeah.
No, it's how we do and how we grow and how everything's I mean, again, we do have big things kind of planned for coming out once Lewis gets back out of vacation. So, I mean, hopefully everything starts to materialize. But, although with that further ado, does bring us totally to the end of the show. And of course, Lewis will not be back. We'll be again absent next week due to vacation. So it'll be us two next week, and fairly simple short show we got here. But once again, though, thank you all for listening, and this has been Nintendo Voice. Take care.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.